open session to order. Citizen forum. Nothing?
There don't appear to be citizens.
Board committees. So, do we have?
Transportation, Matt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
and I will,
That'll
be
actually
part
end
of
up
my
being
report.
discussed later on,
Yep.
so.
Okay.
Okay, so that'll be, transportation will be covered under
My
Jeff's-
report.
under Jeff's report. Okay, and anything else?
We had a business office or a finance, but Sheena will cover that under hers.
Okay, and then we've not done anything else, I don't believe. School forestry policy.
That was easy.
It's quiet.
Moving on. It's a good thing because we're 7 minutes late starting, so catch up. That's my fault. Okay, on to the superintendent's
Okay.
report.
I think we're recording tonight, so.
No, sure.
So in my board report, start off with policy updates. Tonight you'll be approving policy 506, student discipline. And a lot of the changes in that one has to do with discipline for during recess, suspensions and that type of thing, primarily in the elementary. And we have to be able to communicate with parents. And there's a form if they have concerns on disciplinary measures that we're using that they can report a complaint. 507, corporal punishment and prone restraint, just adds prohibition language regarding prone restraints. 513, promotion, retention, program design, adds gifted and talented student provision for early admissions. 602, calendar and school day, adds e-learning provision. And it's something that needs to be discussed during negotiations. 603, curriculum development, updates district advisory committee provision, deletes curriculum development process, Article 5. And then 604, instructional curriculum updates, required academic standards, prohibits curriculum discrimination and discipline. And 624, online instruction, is a new policy on online instruction. And that was all the red lines are in your board packet. And again, these are kind of going through the fast track because they're verbatim by law, and whether we have it in policy or not, we have to follow what's in statute. 23-24 school calendar. The approved calendar for this upcoming school year shows Friday, December 22nd as a school day, but it's listed as part of the Christmas break, December 22nd through January 1st. This is an oversight that needs to be corrected. We can make Friday, December 22nd a half day and release students after lunch. This would maintain our 172 student contact days. It would allow families to get on the road for if they're going out for the holiday, or we just make Friday, December 22nd a regular school day.
That was the intention to begin with. I mean, I'm not on the calendar committee, but my
think
guess
that
is
was
that the
intent.
typing
The
down
intent,
in the
yep.
bottom just didn't get updated to
Yep.
reflect the calendar up above.
Yep,
So can we not just correct that?
we
if
can
that
just
was the
correct it
intention?
and, yep.
Yeah, I think that'd be the actually clearest to.
Well, when I look at it, when I look at the school calendar, I look, like, if I'm like wondering, oh, when is Christmas break? I probably don't even look at the dates. I look and say, oh, that whole week is black. It's Monday through Friday.
Yeah,
And then later I just know, the only time I ever look at the wording down below is if I feel like it's not there or I need clarification. I mean, that's just me.
no,
So we'll make Friday, December 22nd a regular full day.
I mean, unless
And
somebody
that was my
wants
first-
to,
Yeah,
that was my
that
thought.
was my
but-
inclination as well. But that's on the board agenda as an emotion,
It should
right?
be on the crib sheet, I hope.
Yeah. I mean, probably what we're doing is, but,
Yeah, I think it's just approve
Yeah.
revisions to
Right.
23, 24.
Uh-huh.
And then we'll make sure that gets listed.
is it on the, where is it on?
Yes.
the agenda?
Down there?
it's under,
Oh, yep, okay.
yeah.
Yep. Then I have a number of staffing appointments I want to go over real quickly, and I'm not going to read through everyone's, but we have Kelsey Armstrong, paraprofessional, and she was here prior to opening up her daycare, and she will be replacing Callie Newell, who's actually taking over the daycare, so they kind of flip-flop there. Yeah. And we have Steve Kramer, bus driver, and he's coming over here with 15 years of experience from Indus. And we're working on, we don't have an accurate count on the number of kids transferring in. I believe it's, last time I counted for sure, firm 7 students. I'm not sure where they're located over there. But we'll be working on a bus route to bring them this way. And we'll probably end up parking one of the buses over in the Birchdale area, which will save some fuel cost. So whether we can get by with 7 routes or if we have to adjust and add a route, that's something we'll have to determine when we have a better idea who's attending. Karen Turbin was hired as an assistant cook, and she comes from Indus with 7 years experience. Amanda Reardon will be filling our elementary special education position.
Say, Jeff, I have a question.
Yep.
With the addition of Karen, do you think we'll be able to open the Bears Den again, or do we need one
well,
more?
this is to get us back up to, I think, is it 4?
Yeah, that was what I was thinking that it was.
We're
So
still down one person,
We
I
still don't
believe.
have enough to open the Bears Den like we had
Yeah.
before.
Because he just had a resignation or
Yeah,
retirement.
yeah,
so.
and I saw that last month, yeah. I
So-
just wanted to make sure.
Yep. And we're still exploring ideas for the Bears Den. Yeah. Amanda Reardon will be doing elementary special education teaching. She has a regular teacher license and will be going through the process to get her an out-of-field licensure. So she'll be licensed to run a special ed program. And Brick does offer new special ed teacher cohort training, and we'll send her to that. And they have support people that will help her get through the year.
She does that out of, what'd you call it,
Out of field?
out of field?
Yep.
But then, how long can she do that for? 3 years?
Up to 5 years now. Yeah, there is such a shortage.
Yeah,
Change
That-
things around a bit.
Yeah.
okay. And then after that, let's pretend
Let's
she
see where
stays.
we're at in 5 years.
Okay.
So,
Well, let's see where we're at after a year. No,
yes. Yeah.
you know, I mean, it's new for her too.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
She'll do well. It's a good fit for her, so. And she'll be located next to Emily Pearson down in elementary. They have combined or connected classrooms through the resource room so they can work together.
Well, and Emily has how many years of experience now?
Oh, gosh.
She's got several
Oh, yeah.
anyway,
Yep.
which is good.
So it'll work well. Also that I don't have in my notes, we added also Chris Berthum as a paraprofessional. And I'm recommending step 5, and we still, because of the contract language, I just need to verify approval through that we can move her up past step 3. She's been a person in the building for many years, since 2013, I think, so 10 years. She's been serving as a substitute paraprofessional. She's helped in the lunch line, she's helped in the office. Spends a lot of time with as a para. And she's in a situation now that she wants to take a full position, and we've been advertising for quite a while to fill that position. We've been getting by without it, so it is a new position. But it'll really help us because we have no subs. She was our sub, so we're hiring our sub to be in the building. We have students that she can work with, but when we're short subs, it makes it a little easier to juggle schedules and move people around, having her in the building. And that's been a struggle the last couple of years. That a pair has gone for whatever reason, trying to find coverage for the students that they serve. And then finally, and this reverts back to our transportation committee meeting, we've been trying to figure out how to fill 2 resignations. One would be Tony Brous, was the mechanic assistant and maintenance custodial person. And then Brad Abbey resigned his position as transportation supervisor. I'm recommending John Botko, who's been a bus driver here and custodial person for quite a few years. But I'm recommending him for transportation supervisor. He has experience. He's trains a lot of our type 3 drivers, works with bus drivers to get their licensure, so that's a good fit for him. In addition to doing what Brad did last year, he'll also be prepping vehicles for routes and trips, making sure they're cleaned and fueled and taking more on. So rather than a 6-hour day, it's going to be a full 8-hour day. And I have in the board write-up what the salary is, and between filling Brad's duties and Tony, part of Tony's, I believe it's going to be budget neutral. That bring him in at where we're recommending his salary. Any questions on staffing?
That assistant mechanic position, will that be?
Seth and I will be working on adjusting the assistant mechanic maintenance person. We're looking at a couple different things on the staff that we have, because we need someone to help Dale over at the bus garage a little bit, and also over here doing some of the maintenance things that he does. So we have someone in-house that we might just adjust duties and assign that through that way. And we'll see where we're at custodial wise, but with this might be, I don't, last time I talked to Seth, he didn't feel that we would need an additional custodial person, other than we are talking about a person to come in and help with field prep for athletic events and do some of that stuff during the spring, fall seasons to kind of take the load off the custodial staff. But that's still in the works, and probably by August maybe.
Yeah, we're working on job descriptions and amount of time and
Yeah, so
jobs
it's,
and things.
yeah.
So we talked about bringing it here, but it just wasn't fully fledged
Yeah.
enough to kind of put it in front of you yet.
But that'll take some of the stress off of, especially in the summer when we're trying to do projects and stuff. If we have someone that's willing and wants to come in and just take care of the fields.
Yeah, it's both day to day in terms of like chalking baseball fields in the spring and fall, spring and summer, as well as longer term projects about making sure there's weed prevention and edging those outfields and keeping those fields, baseball, softball, football, primarily the outdoor field track. So
Once we get our stuff in line, we'll bring that for consideration. Any other questions? Okay, and then my schedule's listed there. Some vacation days I'll be taking, staff in service August 28th through the 30th. Tomorrow, Mayor and I will be in Thief River Falls doing a Homeland Security School Emergency Management Training. Looking forward to it. It's only 2 days, but all the online training's like, what, 9 hours? Yeah.
Wow.
So, it's good stuff though. Any questions? Okay.
Okay, next up we have high school principal, Mary Merchant.
Good evening. The first thing on my report is the Student Rights and Responsibilities Handbook. There was one little thing that I changed in it, and it has to do with the first day of school and the class periods, and they weren't quite balanced out, so I just changed the times of each period to get them balanced out, but otherwise everything else is as presented. And then Diane, once again, will be putting it on Synergy, so, and then when it will send an email out to parents and students letting them know that it is live, and before they can get in to see their schedules, the students will have to check that they acknowledge the handbook. So that worked very well last year when we did that. Updates, Sam will refer to the activities feed. There's been some changes there. And then wherever we had anything referring to grades 7-12, I adjusted it so it says 6-12. And then just cleaning up some of the language with the dress code, eliminating things that were repetitive in there. So otherwise, the changes that Jeff said that are mandates that we needed to put in really on the high school end, we had that in there, so that I really don't have changes regarding that. Like Jeff said, we'll be attending the school emergency management training. Room prep, our 6th grade home room outside of the bulletin board and a welcome on the door. The room's all set to go. And then we just need to still get cleaned out the career and college information room. And then that one will be ready to go. And then the APAC committee, last spring when I went to the conference, one of the things that came up had to do with bylaws and voting members, and I cannot find anything that shows we have any bylaws or any format to follow. So a couple of the sessions I went to, it was wonderful because I got some that I could take and, you know, adjust it so it reflects our school and our committee. One thing we are going to add this year are high school student reps on the committee, so it will be nice to get some student voice on the committee. And we'll start with our first meeting in September when I'll explain that to all the committee members. And then on the agenda is to approve the InterQuest detection canines. And I didn't look close, so I don't even know if it's reflected in there, but we have decreased it to 3 times this year. I think when I started here it was 6 or 7, and honestly, coming 3 times, we had 4 last year, but they never even made the 4th time, and with 3 times throughout the year, I really feel that does meet our needs, and it also has increased $100 each time. So with decreasing it 1 time, it absorbs that difference in it. And I will say it's been a discussion among the northern principals, because some schools are seeing, are there other options, which unless you have a law enforcement department that would have, you know, a canine unit, there really isn't. And the really nice thing about the InterQuest is the dogs are passive, so you can feel comfortable with them in the building with students around. Do you have any questions for me?
Do the dogs find anything during those 3 times?
They have found something every time.
Okay. Maybe we should have more. Just saying.
Well, what's nice about what they have found is, for the most part, there really isn't, I'll call it serious discipline that has to go with it. I'm going to say probably 90% of the time it's detecting gunpowder. And so sometimes it's detecting, they're figuring that's what it's detecting, but finding nothing. Sometimes it's empty shells. I will say there's been times that some of our trap kids forgot their ammo in, but there's been no weapon, so that's been good. I didn't have to deal with that. And in those cases, I just confiscate the ammunition and have a parent pick it up. So
Gearing it more towards, do they find any drugs during those times?
we have not. So
Oh.
that is the happy thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
That 3 times is probably good.
Yes, yes. If it would be something like that, Boyd, I would definitely say we should either continue with that higher number or increase it actually.
Can they detect anything with the vaping?
No, because they don't detect tobacco.
Okay.
But now I have to be careful when I say that, because if the vaping is something like marijuana, yes, they would detect that. So now that there's marijuana vaping devices, they would detect it if that was in it. And for the most part, because I have them check lockers, we've done some classrooms and the parking lot. For the most part, it's just been the parking lot where things have been detected. So I have to say I like the fact that it's not coming into the building. Any other questions?
It says 9 half-day visits on the contract. Is that correct? Might be the way I'm reading.
Let me go grab it.
Fourth paragraph down, first sentence. 9 half-day visits. $4.40 per team.
Okay, this is the one this is what it should be.
Okay.
Maybe the wrong one got grabbed.
Yeah. So,
Be specific about the version we approve.
yeah.
So that paper copy is the one that we are asking you to approve, where it says the 3 half-day visits.
So it's 3 half-day visits, is the $4.40 per
Yep, that's what it
team
says.
stays the same?
Yep, $4.40. I'm just looking at it quick to see if there's any other differences. I don't see any, so. Okay,
Okay, we're good?
yeah,
Okay, thank you.
thank you.
I do have one more thing, if I can interrupt the,
Yeah.
so I would change the agenda. I'm recommending that we postpone the closed session, being that Tim and Carla are not here. And we have our audit, and Sheena will talk about it briefly, but we do have our audit the second week in August. So maybe by August board meeting, we'll have some audit information that might be pertinent to negotiations, discussions. So I think it would be better use of our time to postpone that closed session to the August meeting.
Okay, moving on to business application.
For our revenues for the year, our state revenue is at 92% received. We'll receive another 10% by September or October when the auditors come and we go through what we've received in our enrollment. We'll actually create a journal entry to move the revenue back into 2023. Our local revenues are $55,628 received. Federal revenues are at 70% received for the year. I did complete a few draws just last Thursday. So we should receive a total of $218,844 in federal revenues that will be moved back into 2023. And then I'll go through each of them briefly. And then community ed has received 42% of budgeted revenues for the year. I will complete the final transfer this month or beginning of August, since it's coming very quickly. Our ESSER 3 Finance 160 grant, we have $33,356.16 remaining. That will be drawn down to 0 and will not be carried over to next year. Finance 161, we have $97,914.85 remaining available. We currently have $75,000 in expenditures, plus I have to create a journal entry for food service and our summer school and transportation expenses. Factoring those things in, we should be able to spend all of it and draw all the money, so that journal entry will be completed. Finance 171 was spent, and COVID testing supplies, Finance 170. I drew our final quarter 4 draw, that was $49,028.48, $0 remaining there. Title Finance 401. All funds have been drawn. Our quarter 4 draw total was $34,589.53. So all grants will be spent. Nothing will be carried over into next school year. Our expenditure, sorry, I might as well finish going over our revenues. So if you look at our UFAR's expense revenue summary, which is this one, this is a report that I run right from finance. It's currently showing a deficit of $761,081.70. If you factor in all the grant dollars plus late gen ed aid that we'll be getting, I can safely say our deficit would be closer to $292,243, but I would even assume it would be less than that. So we are definitely over budget on expenditures this year. Revenues are coming out higher than what we're projected. So overall expenditures are $479,939 over budget. When we look at all categories, it's primarily salaries and wages, and then supplies and equipment and employee benefits. The auditors will be here within the next 2 weeks. The process should go fairly fast. We should have everything wrapped up within a month. So by the end of August at our next school board meeting, we should have a very, very firm idea how we finish off the year. The student activity balance report is attached, as well as the transaction report for June 30th. There was the class of 2023 did deficit spend for the year, so it's something that I did let the advisors know last week, and we are looking into just to see if there was some coding errors or some expenses coded just to the wrong class or not for that class. But I went through this last credit card statement and posted the payment through finance, and we're noticing the discrepancy. So if it is accurate and everything's correct, we'll more than likely just need to absorb that expense.
Where does that, how do you absorb that expense? Like, who absorbs it? The school?
It's the school.
And then how do we prevent that from occurring in the future?
We did talk about that. So every month when I do the board packet even and close out and do a bank reconciliation, I email out student activity reports. I know Mary should get them monthly, Jeff should get them monthly, and you go through it just like they're attached to the board packet. It shows the balance for each student activity, and then I even include the transactions for that month. So just my assumption of what happened was, for instance, like March 30th, they're looking and it shows, oh, we have $10,000 there. That's great. But that doesn't include everything you put on the credit card the month before, because the credit card statement has, well, like we all have a credit card. We know it takes a good month for it to come out of your bank account. So just looking at this last statement, there was charges made on April 26th. Well, the credit card period closed on May 26th. Then at that point, Harley gets all the information and the payment comes out of our bank account in June. So then I financially input everything in June, so it posts in June. So it's a delay at a good 6 weeks, which there's no changing that. That's actually a very prompt. We're doing everything on time. Harley's keeping everything. She honestly turns it around very quickly. So I think the problem is looking at the balance and not factoring in the transactions that have been made within that month. So we did discuss things that we could do. When I've been audited in the past, my auditors told me I have the right as the business manager to audit any student activity account. That means every advisor is responsible for their student activity. So they're responsible for knowing their revenues and expenditures and basically keeping their transaction history. So, and it's something we talked about we can do training on.
Yeah, we can do training. This is kind of an
Keeping a
isolated
spreadsheet.
situation that, quite honestly, someone wasn't managing their revenues and expenses very well, and maybe misunderstood. I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
But you know how
Well,
much
and
you
you
should
weren't
have.
expecting to see those, because last month you thought there was going to be a balance of $500.
there was $500 in the
Yes.
account last
And
month.
then since then, you've gotten the credit card statement, and there was like,
$6,900 in charges.
So advisors can't rely on the business manager to let them know what their actual balance is. They need to be tracking, we've done these fundraisers, we've purchased this much so far, we have X dollars left in our account. But we're gonna come up with a system so that we can train them and have a way to encourage them or make sure that we're monitoring where they are on their budgets.
And then our audit is scheduled for Wednesday, August 9th through Friday, August 11th. I will be on site those days here. The auditors will not be on site, but they have reserved those 3 days just for our school. So we'll just be working really hard on audit, giving them everything they need. They'll even send us a portal and information that they'll want ahead of time. I haven't received anything yet. So once they do, we'll get rolling on that. So, any questions? Okay.
Next up is Activities Director of Community Ed, Samantha Lyon.
Hello. Not a lot from me this time of year, wrapping up summer ball. The pool has been very busy. Lisa had 48 kids in the kind of big group swimming lessons, and then another 50 private lessons or private group lessons. So a lot of activity in the pool, which is great. The primary thing that I want to put in front of you is this activity, game passes and student activity fees schedule for the year. Apologies on the late notice on this, so if you're not comfortable passing this, we can push it off till next month if you want more information or want to think it over more. Part of the impetus for this is that we have not increased this, at least from my knowledge, the 21-22 school year. That was the last time this was put in front of you, and I don't think it was even increased since before COVID. So part of this is, given some of the budgetary stuff the school is going through, this is an opportunity for the athletics department to cover a little bit of weight. I think we are, based on some preliminary research across kind of our collective schools up here, low on our gate fees. And then which is kind of the primary increase in revenue, or what you might, is like the most significant increase. The student activity fees are all $5 a piece. And then cleaned that up a little bit in terms of making it more user-friendly. The gate fees work to about 13, so the gate fees from the per game fee to the annual game pass works out to about 13 games for each pass, or it takes 13 games to recoup your money. It's a little bit more for the senior citizens. I think it's like 15 games, but my hope a little bit, small hope, is that the price of each of these games actually pushes people to buying an annual game pass. I think the psychology of that is that if I get in free, aka I've already put my money down up front, not actually putting the money down when I walk in the door, I'm maybe more likely to show up to a game. That's not a scientifically tested psychology, so don't hold me to that, but trying to think about how do we generate revenue, or generate interest in a way that people are coming to these games more, and I think those annual game passes are could be a good piece in that. Some of the things we've done with that is that Justin Shiro was a connection to ANI, and ANI actually bought 10 passes last year to then pass out to, they didn't have a name on them, but they passed them out to people at ANI, new employees, people new to the area, to say, hey, show up to a game, come to a volleyball game. This is a place where you can get connected a little bit and feel some of the kind of community spirit. So I think those are a tool in a way that I'd like to promote those more, and I think increasing the everyday amount is a way of doing that.
So if people wanted to buy an annual game pass, they show up to a game and they could do it.
Do it right at the door.
Yeah.
Yep. And we used to give out cards. The thing about cards is that you can pass them to anybody who, they don't have your name on them necessarily. We don't have the capability of that. So I moved to a bouncer list. Each of our cash boxes had a list of people who had bought annual passes. So you go up and say, hi, my name is so-and-so. I can get it free. So I have an annual game pass.
How many adult game passes, when they were $75 roughly, did we have? A lot?
Not a ton, no. And I think some of that is on me for not advertising them, or not. I mean, I think there's opportunity there, and that's me getting further into this job in a way that I say, okay, that's the thing I want to kind of push this year.
Yeah. Seems like something you could do, like the Facebook stuff would.
Yes.
Be just
Yes.
telling people how to get
100%.
Yeah.
And make it more prominent at the gate, like the fact that you ask, where can you buy these? It's very convenient. The check you're writing for $7 could be for $90, and then you're free and clear, right? So that's on me. I have some ideas about how to promote that in a better way. I would say a handful, 15 over the course of last year, that did purchase them. So the 13 number is a little strategic, and then that is, we've got, I think, about 9, I did this math, but 9 home volleyball games and 4 home football games. So if you come to everything in the fall, you've recouped your money. Likely that's not going to be the case. There are a few folks who will do that, but for the most part, then, okay, 13 doesn't get you through a full season, but then pulls you into the winter season also. Hockey, basketball, things like that. So.
It makes sense if you have a kid that plays, or grandkid, or whatever, that plays, more than one sport.
Yeah.
Then you don't have to remember your money every time.
Right. Or your card, some people were a little bit unhappy with that, but it's just a much easier way to kind of keep track of that. And I thought for people too, so. Any other questions?
Actually, why is hockey so expensive for Canadians?
Because it's a more expensive sport.
And I just wanted to make sure that
Yeah.
That was.
Yeah, that's actually, that's the one number that I did not increase, because it's so very obviously expensive, and that's a holdover. I don't know if, Jeff, you have some history on that? Like why hockey is, I mean, my rationale is that it's a much, much more expensive sport.
And I realize that, it's so markedly different with
Yeah.
the rest.
Well,
And
but
that's if they're going to school in Canada and
Yes.
playing hockey here, not if they're enrolled
Correct.
here. Correct.
Yeah, but football is also an expensive sport,
Yeah,
you know, like we're talking equipment and
yeah.
all that stuff, and travel and distance. It's not as many games though, I don't know. I don't have any history on the rationale for that. Yeah.
I mean, I
remember
and is
part
that in
of the
Canadian funds?
increased amount
Yeah.
was
I love those answers.
because of the cost of the arena, because that
Oh.
and so this is that way of spreading the cost of
Sure.
the arena rental.
Yep, that makes sense also. The facility is not our facility like football
Right.
would be.
That would make sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's, that was one explanation I had,
sure.
and it makes
I will,
sense.
I will pass that explanation on.
Sounds good anyway.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
take it. Sounds
it's around 60-some thousand.
68.
68.
68.
Now, granted, the elementary and other stuff
Yeah.
gets
Mhm.
used, but the bulk of it is for
Yeah. Hockey.
hockey, so that's a pretty chunk of change
Yeah.
that the taxpayers are picking up.
And the reason we don't have Canadian options all the way down is,
Co-ops. We are not formally co-opted with all sports.
okay,
So the ones that you're seeing as options are the ones that we have co-ops with.
So then you're not even recouping the discount on the Canadian money, so you're aware of that.
Yeah, and that's the other, like, was the exchange rate different when those numbers were
Well, and
created?
that's what I was
Well, these aren't
thinking.
Canadian funds, are they?
Yes.
No.
I think,
They shouldn't be, they should be
No.
US funds. It's the Canadian people should be paying $450 US.
yeah.
That's
Okay.
That would be my
Okay.
interpretation.
okay, maybe that's wrong, maybe I'm wrong on that then.
I mean, I asked the question before
Yeah.
yeah.
So that's how it's supposed to be.
It's Canadian
Okay.
status, not
that's-
Canadian.
You know, you're right though, when they, because I have the same registration page that people go through to sign up for anything. There's a Canadian portal for that. They put their credit card information in, so that's in American funds. You're right,
Okay.
I'm wrong about that.
Okay, I
That's,
just wanted to make sure.
No, that makes
was
sense.
why that
Yes.
was why I asked.
yep, so that is in American funds, and frankly, I'm gonna add that to this,
Yeah.
Just the
to this,
USD or
yes,
whatever.
like this is
Yeah.
our US funds.
Because that's fairly substantial.
Yes, well, like you said, you're not even recouping your money in
Because
that.
I mean, it's a lot right now.
Yeah.
I think it's over 30%, isn't it?
I
so.
believe so. It's around that. It's been 20% for quite a while.
Yeah.
Even before then, but
Okay, anything else? Oh, homecoming, that's the only other exciting thing. Homecoming is October 9th through the 13th. The 13th is my fun day, because we're gonna have a 1 PM volleyball game for the whole school against Walker, and then football plays that night. So, I know, it's not gonna work out that way every year, but really excited that it did, so will be a fun day. I'm trying to do that schedule of day games for every sport, so volleyball's up for this year. Okay, thank you.
Thanks for,
Yeah, of course. Yeah, appreciate any feedback you guys want on that stuff.
next up we have buildings and grounds with Seth, but he's not here. But we do have to, and we have to approve that tonight, and
We have to get the resolution signed with the MDE by July.
does any of this go back to the conversation that we had last month about large-scale expenses as far as window replacements and stuff like that coming up, and
I think Jeff does have a funding source meeting set up, don't you? August 8th? I think it was.
August 8th at 11 a.m. And I sent out an invite to the board members serving on those grounds.
so that'd be,
Boyd,
Me and Tim, right?
okay.
so, and we'll, at that meeting, we'll present the projects that we're looking at and these options.
So there's $100,000 in this upcoming school year for traffic flow. What's that?
Where do you see that, on what page?
Oh, gosh. 131 of 204.
Read the PDF.
Yes,
Which,
the board packet,
which page number,
131.
oh, okay. Never mind.
Oh, yeah. I see that too. Yeah, I guess. So has Buildings and Grounds been involved in the development?
Of LTFM, yes. Sheena, you work with Buildings and Grounds with that, with Seth,
Yeah.
for
so-
LTFM.
Yeah, so.
And
Seth
there's
and I
someone
just
else.
Match
Yeah.
whatever expenditures are in each finance division.
So, page of the packet, is it again?
131.
Like the first page of the,
No, it's page 131 of 200 and, no, yes, 131 of 204 pages. So, a little over halfway down. At the very end, it's at the tail end of all the LTFM stuff. Right before the K-9 contract. At the top, it says 384 site budget. So this is more, I mean, I don't see unless I'm missing it. This is more grounds, no building stuff. Because I see the track is on here for 24-25 school year.
Football field,
That one's actually 0. It's water and sanitation to football field. Is that,
oh, yeah.
so our bathroom's not on, it's just
It's
water
just
and
a-
sanitation, or does the
yeah.
water and sanitation encompass the bathrooms? I don't
where
know.
is that set for?
23-24 has $100,000 for traffic flow. Is that like redoing, you know, how you have the barricades out there? Is that to redo something so there's not, you know what I mean, to make that different?
Good catch.
And then, obviously, there's the track, but then above the track, the following school year is water and sanitation to football field. And there is a line that says football field bathrooms, but it's blank.
Yeah, that's.
Everything else on this whole sheet seems fairly routine.
Yeah, pretty consistent, but then there's a couple outliers
Yeah,
and the track.
yeah. Like the mechanical budget's pretty routine year to year. 131?
What page was it?
131?
131.
It's, if you look at the graph, it's 384 site budget.
Yeah. So it's like, I think the last graph out of, there's all the maroon bar graphs. I think it's the last one. Or second to last.
1, 2,
Yeah, second to the last bar graph. And I know that I've heard people talk about getting water out there at some point in time. It seems vaguely familiar.
That comes up every periodic.
So it's actually, it's just come up and it's just been dumped into that year, or is it an actual plan?
Well, I don't know. I think it just gets dumped in there now. I don't know what the traffic flow that they put in for 100,000. That was something else. And then last year, we really haven't talked about changing what's out there for the coming year. Just because we're still waiting.
You don't have any idea, Sheena, what that is? That traffic flow?
No, I don't. We talked about windows and roads.
Windows and roads.
I don't recall anything like that.
Windows, and then the brick facade is separate too, right? Those are my only questions, really.
Big question.
Well, this is just a plan, it's not set in stone, you just have to approve the 10-year plan. And as we do projects, you revise it. So that is the holding place. You see the 800,000 highlighted. The running track, that's into one. And then the page the windows were on.
They're way up
We
there.
had windows were so much per year.
Yeah, they're $850 per year, I think, for 4 years. I think that was what it was that I saw. I saw that in there.
250 a year.
250, yeah, it's like $1 million
$250
over
a
4
year,
years.
excuse me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
250 is much better than 850.
Yeah, no kidding.
And do you know off the top of your head what our actual, revenue is? 180 something.
Like when you add up all these, or when you add up our revenue, but when you add these up, they come to a lot more than that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just, these are estimated expenses. It doesn't mean that we're set to spend.
It's not an approval for spending.
Yeah, you said you're guessing it's 180 per year? So like, not this coming school year, but the year after, we'd need 10 times that. That's what I was talking about in the finance meeting. That it's depressing.
Yeah.
That's right, because it went down.
Yes.
I think it went down because we have to look at the, when we went to these.
Yeah, nothing is because it's cheaper.
Don't, in fact, it's becoming much more expensive.
Doubling.
Yeah, because I made that change when I did that one report. I found that the old one was being imported and set it in one.
Yeah.
So it's my fault.
There was, say that again about the arena, that what was?
So there's this building report that has to be submitted to MTE each year. And when I did it last summer, I found that the old arena was still being used.
Oh, like for the square footage?
Yeah.
I think
Why
we
would we
think
Yes, the
submit?
square footage and year of the building.
And so we
Yeah,
get
so the
less.
older it is, the more you get?
The more you
Right.
Yeah.
And it averages up all of us when you have a brand new building. So, average age.
should, I'll just leave it like that.
What's that?
Nothing. I'll ask later.
So if you look at page 115 of 204, you can see the windows being started actually this year, the 23-24 year.
And we didn't budget for them this
Right,
year.
but I mean, they're in the LTFM.
Yeah, the beginning, of the 10-year and the end of the 10-year seem
Oh, no, it's
very
yeah,
reasonable. It's the middle years that are
Yeah.
all,
Yeah.
which is where we are now. So,
You see the carpet? $400,000 a carpet over 4 years.
but that's carpet, I'm sure, is original, right? So
Yep,
it's
it's,
now
well,
30
it's
years
like
old.
2002, I think it said.
Oh, so we replaced it after 10 years? Or 9 years or whatever?
I think it said, memory serving.
So the carpet now is 20-ish years old.
Okay. Well, I guess we can move on. Yeah. Unless there's any more questions on that. Sorry, gotta get organized. So I will call the regular meeting to order. Say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So, looking for a motion to approve the agenda with the removal of the 8A would be the closed session, and that was it, right?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Okay, motion and second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Any board presenters? Any written communications? Any old business? Okay. We can move on to the new business. Looking for a motion to approve the June 26th, 2023 board meeting minutes.
The motion.
I'll second.
Okay, motion by Boyd, second by Robin. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Looking for a motion to approve the invoices, financial statements, bank reconciliation, wire transfers, and purchase card statements.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Okay, Robin and Lynn. Any discussion? Motion passes, or, call for a vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Now the motion passes.
President.
Yeah. Looking for a motion to approve the personnel resignations, retirements, and appointments. Got resignations from Brad Abbey, Transportation Supervisor, and Tony Browse, Assistant Mechanic. And appointments of Kelsey Armstrong, Paraprofessional, Steve Kramer, Bus Driver, Karen Turbin, Assistant Cook, Amanda Raridan, Elementary Special Education Teacher, Chris Berthume, Paraprofessional, and John Botko, Transportation Coordinator.
Make the motion.
I'll second.
Okay. Motion by Boyd, second by Lynn. Any discussion? Just want to thank Brad and Tony for their service here. Okay, call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next up, we're looking for a motion to approve the long-term facilities maintenance plan.
Make the motion.
I'll second.
Motion by Boyd, second by Robin. Any discussion?
I will have Seth address some of your questions at the next board meeting, and after that Wood Seth meeting, we'll probably have more information.
No.
So,
Okay.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next, we're looking for a motion to approve the 2023-24 activity and athletic fees.
Make the motion.
I'll second.
Motion by Boyd and second by Robin. Any discussion? Call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next, we're looking for a motion to approve the InterQuest Detection K-9 contract that has the 3 half-day visits for the 2023-24 school year.
Make the motion.
I'll second.
Motion by Boyd with a second by Robin. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next, we're looking for a motion to approve the 2023-24 high school handbook.
Make that motion.
Second.
Lynn and Boyd, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next, we're looking for a motion to approve one reading and adoption of policies 506 student discipline, 507 corporal punishment and prone restraint, 513 student promotion, retention, and program design, 602 organization of school calendar and school day, 603 curriculum development, 604 instructional curriculum, and 624 online instruction.
Make the motion.
I'll second.
Motion by Boyd, second by Robin. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next, we're looking for a motion to approve the revisions to the 2023-24 school calendar as presented, but we did discuss that we would.
Friday, just, the motion would be Friday, December 22nd will be
It's
a
a
regular
full
school
day,
day
yeah.
for students.
I'll make
and
that
staff.
motion that the 22nd will be a half day.
Full day, regular day.
No, a half day. The student's going home at noon.
I thought we
I
discussed the
thought
other.
that's not what we.
I thought that was what we said, because then it would count as a student day.
I said that when you look at the calendar part, it's the
Okay.
wording underneath. I mean, unless I was not
No,
understood.
I think that's what I was.
Okay,
saying.
that because
Friday's
the
a full day.
calendar up above, that,
Okay,
you
so
know, with the
Friday should be a
boxes,
full day?
looks like Friday is a full day. I think, my
My
question was,
interpretation of the discussion was that it was the consensus of the board to make Friday just a regular day, because that's what it shows on the top.
I must not be
Just-
listening.
and
Sorry.
the wording down below is probably, my guess,
Yeah.
last year the 22nd was a Thursday, my guess, I don't remember, that we went Monday through Wednesday and Thursday, Friday, and so I just thought that the
Yeah.
bottom part didn't get up, the wording at the bottom probably didn't get updated.
It's just one
Is there any
digit.
detriment to going a half day?
Make kids and teachers happy, I guess, would be the
Yeah.
biggest pro.
I would stay with the color coding and just, I mean,
Make it
otherwise
the
you're.
full day.
Otherwise, I mean.
They'll figure out quickly that they have a half day, I guarantee. But
I think the original intent, it was supposed to be a full day. That was my suggestion.
I believe so.
Which is why my suggestion was to leave it as the original intent and just fix the number down below. That's just me.
go with the original.
I mean, just because it was the original
I'm good with
intent.
that.
And not like, you know.
That'd be said that Ramen took away the half day off.
I'll tell Cayman that.
Yeah, it's my fault.
And I'm okay with that. So it'll be a full day on the 22nd?
Yep.
So is that a motion?
Yes.
Motion for a full day on
Motion after discussion.
December, yeah. Well, we had to discuss what we were motioning.
Exactly.
Okay. So we've got a motion on the table, looking for a second.
Second.
Okay, any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Call it Robin's Day.
Everybody can be mad at me.
Motion
Fine.
passes. All right. Now, under other business, we're skipping over the closed session, and so then we don't need to open a meeting. So, I guess we are ready to adjourn at 7:11.
Okay.
Thank you.